Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? It's great to be with you guys. It's Friday. This is episode 1295 of the 49ers Rush Podcast. And I'm excited about today's show. It's funny. The wife finally took a day off. Like during the holidays, it's her busy time as well. So we took the day off, or the morning off, which is huge for me. Usually I get up pretty early and start working right away. Like I'm most productive in the mornings, but the wife asked to watch TV. So I've been, cranking on the laptop while watching TV this morning. It's been a good day. It's been a really, really good day. And this is kind of where we're at with the season, because it's like, yeah, I'm definitely going to put out content. I'm going to put the work in, but it's just a little different pace. Whenever the 49ers aren't in the playoffs, it changes things. But I'm excited about today's show because, man, we've got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about Matt Hennessy, not only just the player, but what this could mean for the 49ers moving forward. The title of the show is When Did You Know? And probably what I want to spend a lot of time on, what was the exact point this season when you were like, yeah, we're not making the playoffs, or this ain't it? Whatever that was. It could even be before the season. I put this out on Twitter, got a ridiculous amount of attention. And so I kind of went through and categorized the top four, but I also want to see your thing. So when was the moment that you knew this season was over? Then I want to talk about why this season's over. It doesn't have anything to do with the injuries. And the fact that we're playing the Lions this week, I think, I shouldn't say doesn't have anything to do with the injuries. The injuries are prominent. However, we are playing the most injured team in the NFL this week, the Lions. They have more injuries than us, more cap money on IR, more cash on IR, more starters on IR, more players on IR. Yet, they're fighting for the number one overall seed and probably going to get it. We are already eliminated from the playoffs 3 games before the season ended. What's the difference there? Then after that, want to talk quarterbacks in the NFC West and with a peek forward to 2025. Because even though the 49ers season is over, even though the Cardinals season is over, what happens in 2025 is going to be determined in these next 2 weeks. The 49ers will play the third place NFC West schedule. We're going to outline that. Or the fourth place. Pretty big difference in those teams. We're going to get to that. Again, this is episode 1295. Got to say thank you to our executive producers, Corey Robbins, 49ers George 365, and David Gill. You guys are the best, and all of the Countdown crew. Love you guys. What's up, Tommy? Appreciate y'all. You look at that. He says first on YouTube. That's right. You're not first. Rippled was first on Twitter, but you are first on YouTube, and that's got to count for something. Rippled, we'll get to your question about. We'll start off right here. He says the season was over when Ayuk didn't sign, and we didn't get proper defensive help for missing. DG. I'm not sure who that one is. I think DC is what he was going for. Where's the C, the G? They're close on the keyboard. I think that's what he meant. But yeah, I want to hear from you guys when you thought that the season was over and we were doomed. We'll go over the top ones. What's up, Steven? Glad to see you here. Ice Cold Darts. Darren, what's up, Mr. 808? My hat's right there. I can't reach it from where I'm at. I got my hat next to me always, my Y hat. Appreciate you, bud. Glad that you are here. Been here since the simulcast. Look at this, dystoic. Those were the good days. Is there anything sweeter than checking your mail and getting a cease and desist letter from the NFL? I don't know. Yeah, I chuckled. I did my evil Joker laugh. It was like, like okay. But yeah, thank you for the loyalty and being here. We've done a lot of shows, and that does not count the over 1,000 shows we've done on Patreon. We've been here for a little bit. That's okay. Bobo, we're done, but I really want to beat the Lions. Same, Bobo. I am not a fall down on the sword. And yeah, I want improved draft position. Yeah, I want better schedule for 2025, but I want to win above all else. And I don't give a damn if it's preseason. Extra season, playoffs, don't matter. I want to win. It's just it's what it is. That's what I want. Tommy, same thing. We're getting answers. I got to star a lot of these comments on when you guys thought the season was over. We'll get back to those. Yeah, I love this. You guys are great, man. Tommy says we should lose out. I disagree. The Shredder, Tommy Huxley. What's up, Papa? Good to see you, man. Papa J in the house. It's also Sean Wonder Bread Swords, and I haven't seen that one yet. That one could stick around. I ain't even mad at that one. Man, we're getting lots of good ones. What's up, Mr. G? He says, forget Twitter. I ain't mad at that. Oh, no, can't get to that one yet, Ed. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Man, you guys. Oh, this one. Faithful and grateful. He says, when the fourth quarter starts. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we are the worst fourth quarter team. Worst fourth quarter defense, average fourth quarter offense. We're the worst in the NFL. And that one, John Lynch talked about that this morning. I'm going to read that quote from you. Look at Vince. He says, man, those simulcasts were fun while they lasted. They sure were, man. They sure were. They were a good time. They were a good time. I have a strange feeling we're going to beat the Lions. Dude, it's possible. They are a beat-up team. They're more beat up than we are. Maybe not as all pros or whatever else. But, yeah, definitely a winnable game whenever a team is so one-sided with an elite offense and a struggling defense. That track meet mentality, it's just, hey, we can't stop teams, so we're just going to outrace them. We're going to out-sprint them. That's what they've done, and it's worked for them. I mean, they are dominating. We'll do our preview show tomorrow, but, that's where it is. Carlos, my man. Carlos Mendoza. He says, hey, John, the season was weird, but right now, with all the personnel troubles by, Ward, Williams, it's understandable how the season goes off for us. Man, this team has been faced with injuries and all the off-the-field stuff, and Chris Forster, losing his wife right before the Super Bowl, a day before the Super Bowl. God, horrible things, man. Just awful. And, try to go back to the humanity of everything always. We're a football show, so we're going to talk football, but you cannot disassociate the horrible stuff off the field. And prayers up for those men and those families, and just awful. Well said, Carlos. Thank you. Tommy, appreciate the super chat. 70-3 Lions, we suck. 300 yards Lions rushing. Have we given up 300 yards yet this year rushing? It's crazy that I have to look that up. I don't think that we have. The most yards rushing, we gave up 257. Oh, nope, 146 to the Vikings, 169 Cardinals, 184 Chiefs, 220 to the Bills in the snow game. So, no, we haven't given up 300 yards in a game. But we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games allowing over 100 rush yards. It used to be a staple of this team. Now, it's rough, man. Sean says, I don't see the Lions showing up. Not for our blood like last year. If we beat them, I don't think they make the Super Bowl with the mental blow. Dude, I love that. I want to knock them out of contention. In honor of the great Don Burr, I like the Lions. I want to destroy them. I want to destroy them so bad they lose in the playoffs. Not because of them, just because, dude, I freaking haters ball, man. Hate them all. Now, if the Lions and the Eagles are playing, I'm going to pull for the Lions. Outside of that, the Rams, Seahawks, I'm going to other team probably. I don't know. I hate all NFC teams. I just hate them all. Now, the 49ers made a big transition, or I think could be a big transition. I don't think that it matters much for what's going on right now, but they signed center Matt Hennessy to a 2-year deal, not a 1-year deal. He was on the practice squad for the Falcons. You brought him over and you signed him to a 2-year deal. He's been on the Falcons. He's been on the Eagles. I think that this is a big deal because what the Niners are doing, and I'm proud of this, is they're already starting to look to the 90-man roster next year. So you have a veteran backup for the first time. For the first time in 3 years, you have some type of veteran stability at the center position to compete with Jake Brendel, who, good Lord, if you've ever seen any of these shows, you know Jake Brindle's so bad. He is the worst starter we've had on this team all year, offense, defense, special teams. He's that bad. That's including Jake Moody. That's including Jair Brown. That's including Devondre Campbell. That's including. He has been the worst. So everybody always says, Shanahan don't trust rookie sitters. This is a bad center draft, by the way. You bring over Matt Hennessy. Now, is he a elite? He was on the practice squad for a team that might, probably going to make the playoffs, but might not. He took over for Alex Mack in Atlanta whenever we signed him. And it looked like he was going to be the center of the future, but then injuries started to pile up. And that's why he hasn't been that good. So the Niners are taking a flyer on a cheap practice squad player. He's going to be on our 90-man roster, and he's going to have, competition for that center spot. We'll see. I still want to draft a third-round rookie. The Texas kid or USC kid. Those are the two ones I want personally. But I went back and looked up my Matt Hennessy pre-draft write-up from 2020, right? We've been doing these draft books since we started. I think we're on year 8 or 9. Because we started with the draft, but I didn't put them out there. I just made them for myself because I'm a psycho. But now we put them out. So if you want part of our 2025 draft book, which is, I think it's already over 60 pages. We give that to all of our Patreon members, any tier. We give them to the 49ersrush.com members, any tier. That comes with it. You don't have to pay anything extra. That's there. I mean, our team, we've got about 11 people working over on that. It's going to be solid this year. There's draft content everywhere. What we do is we tailor it to the 49ers. We grade every single player on 49ers fit, versatility, how many snaps, injuries, what's their GPA and major, all those things. We do all that work plus film. And those film breakdowns are up on the 49ers Rush on our Patreon. Already got a Kelvin Banks, already got Will Campbell, the offensive tackle from LSU. Those are up if you want to go check those out. So here's my draft write-up before he was drafted. Came out of Temple, talking Matt Hennessy, the newest 49er, 6'4", 307. Guard center guy, was a 3-year starter in college. Only allowed 1 sack in 3 years. Now listen to this. He's a technician, perfect for zone blocking scheme, and probably zone blocking scheme only. Great balance. This again, before he ever played a snap in the NFL. Great balance and is never on the ground. Jake Brindle said, what? You can stand up? Yeah, you can stand up. Moves with ease and is great in space. Level of competition is a concern playing at Temple, but dominated with ease at every level. Players just give up against him in pass pro. He earned a single-digit practice jersey. This was back when Matt Rule was there. And he did the same thing at Baylor. He's doing the same thing in Nebraska. It's kind of like what LSU does, where the players vote on the top 10 toughest players, regardless of position. And he was one of those. So tough as hell, all those things. My player comp for him was a poor man's Zach Martin. I had a second-round grade on him. But he's had knee and back issues since he's been drafted. And that's why he's lost his starting job. He just hasn't stayed healthy. So you're getting somebody now that you're going to rest, and you're hoping can provide some type of veteran competition for Jake Brindle. I love that we're looking forward, and it tells me that. Right here. Flynn, despite the rest of this year, or does the rest of this year count? Yes. So he signed for this year, and he signed for next year. That's what's important, is that he signed for the 2025 season. So, yeah, just a 2-year deal. That's why that's there. What's up, Josh? Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I'm going back to that one. That one's good. I starred that one, James. I know you see it. Hashtag CC. Let's see here. Do you know Kyle year 8 and still cannot adjust? I think that Kyle adjusts all the time. There are certain areas, the pass when it's a close game in the fourth, that he has not adjusted on. I don't think he'll ever adjust on that. I think he has adjusted on other things. Especially draft philosophy, roster construction. But there's certain things, the amount of capital he spends on running backs and wide receivers, I don't think is going to change. The fact that he has to pass in close games in fourth quarters, I don't think that's going to change. I do think that he's changed on a lot of other things. He's still smug. He's always going to be arrogant. That's just his personality. But draft philosophy has changed. Roster management has changed. Going to empty sets. He's changed the way we run the outside zone with the toss, inside, outside. We're doing more gap scheme, inside zone stuff. So there's some of that. And a lot of the changes are bad. Going away from play action, going away from screens, going away from misdirection. But yeah, that's there. Bobo, there's got to be at least one decent center in the draft. I will say, just again, haven't done all the film on these guys, but by a general consensus of ranks pre-combine, could change. I would argue this has the least amount of centers in the top 3 rounds of probably the past 6 drafts. You had so many chances to get elite centers. The draft's been peppered with them, and you've stayed away from all of them. All of them. Doesn't mean there couldn't be a great center in here, but the consensus view is Jake Major is probably the number 1 center, and he's like ranked 100. You know, you might be able to use that comp pick on him in the 3rd round. I'd be very happy with that. We did so in our recent mock. If you haven't caught that, that's our previous episode. So yeah, we'll see here. Mike say he's definitely changed on draft. Used to say start in the trenches. Yeah, that's another negative. We didn't draft 1 defensive lineman last year. Guess what the biggest weakness on this team is? I would argue D-line over O-line. Second biggest is O-line. We drafted 2 guards. We didn't draft a center. We didn't draft a tackle. Those are our issues. Anyway, Fantasy Avengers. Appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat. This season was like 2020. It doesn't count. That's right. It's a mulligan. It's a mulligan of a mulligan. You get 2. 2020, nope. 2024, nope. That's what it is. Ed, last time we lost to the Super Bowl, the next year was bad. Then played for the NFC Championship. We'll be back. Hey, 22 straight years. 22 straight years the 49ers have been in the NFC Championship or missed the playoffs. Consecutive. I put that tweet out like a month ago, or like, I put it out a month ago before we were eliminated. It didn't get a lot. It got some traction, but then like a bunch of people put out the exact same tweet and the exact same wording and the exact same spacing, and got like millions or whatever. And it's funny because now I got blocked because somebody stole my tweet from like a major whatever NFL account. But I thought that was funny. I didn't even say anything. People tagged me in it, and I was like, "Oh, leave me out of this. I don't care. People steal my stuff all the time. I don't care. It's not why I'm here. I'm here to have a good time, talk 49ers, and build a community. I don't care about who stole whose tweet. Whatever. I'm not smart enough to steal other people's tweet. I don't care enough about other people to steal other people's tweet. I ain't doing that. If people steal my tweet, I think it's funny. I hate when people do it on Instagram because I have an Instagram guy that gets paid off of those things, but I don't ever log into Instagram. But if you're watching on Instagram, thank you. And shout out to Eric Meisner. He killing it over there. Oh, look at this. Luis, greetings from Durango, Mexico. Hashtag CC. What's up, Luis? Glad to see you, man. People from all over. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, here we go. Let's do this. The title of the episode is When Did You Know? When did you know? I've got about 19 comments starred already that I want to go through. And so I put this out on Twitter and social media in the comments. I went through them all and I went through the top 4. Okay. And I mean, I'm talking thousands of comments. So, I didn't go through and count every single one or whatever else, but these seem to be the big 4. And the number 4, Bobo, we'll count our way up for the most that were mentioned. The Brandon Ayuk injury. That was the 4th most mentioned. The offense, it's funny because a lot of people were saying the Ayuk holdout and drama and all that stuff. And then when Ayuk came back, he wasn't Ayuk. He's somebody that's dependent on being in good shape and practice. And, back-to-back years, he was the training camp player of the camp. And then skipped all of camp because of money and then got up there and said, yeah, I made it harder than it should have been. And we had these numbers agreed to long ago and blah, 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 blah. Came back and he wasn't Ayuk. He definitely not a $35 million a year wide receiver. I don't think it's even close. Wish we would have traded him. I've been very honest about that, but I'm glad we have him for the future. But whenever he went down, you had to shift everything. You moved Jennings over to the X spot. That's not where he's made. It's not where he's built. Even though Jennings has played up and done a hell of a job there, that's not what he's supposed to be. He's not a separation guy. But yeah, the Ayuk injury definitely changed everything because then you had to move everything. And the good news is you spent a 1st-round pick on a wide receiver and a 4th-round pick on a wide receiver. The bad news is you didn't use either one of them. You literally just didn't use them. Still not using them. Still not even trying to see if Jacob Cowing is a viable player to be around the team for a while. Oh, yeah, right here. When Kyle drafted Ricky, that was a weird draft pick, man. And I like Ricky Pearsall. I think I like what we've seen from him recently, but will he ever warrant that first round draft pick? No, not whenever our centers is bad, our offensive lines is bad, our defensive line. Like if I could redo the draft, yeah, I'm taking Zach Frazier. I'm going to trade back and take Zach Frazier. But, looking at the draft, you probably should have went defensive tackle at that spot. And there were a couple of guys. Rukaroro, he was one. Forgot one of the rows. That dude was just sitting right there. There were so many defensive tackles or offensive linemen that you needed. And, I mean, shoot, we lost our number one wide receiver, and we drafted a wide receiver in the first round, and we still didn't use him. Man, that sucks. Yeah, right. Right here. Bobo, I knew as soon as Brandon Ayuk came to practice with the wrong shorts. That was one of the best videos, man. Reminded me of my first year I coached middle school. And I was like, dude, that was like a legitimate thing that we went through. I coached 7th, 8th graders my first year coaching. And it was like, yeah, that was the thing. And then the funny thing is, even whenever you get up to varsity and whatever else, and you're the head coach, you still deal with it, just not near as much. But it's nice to know, even Shanahan deals with that stuff, that you got to go $35 million a year. You got to dress the dress code, man. Why do you think that's a thing? Rusty says, BA will never be that guy. I've watched many games with Rusty. His football IQ is second to none. I'm excited for the Brandon Ayuk redemption tour. That's what I'm excited for. My son won't even wear his jersey anymore. Like, it's easy to be frustrated. It's easy to be frustrated. I'm excited for him to get back into the good graces of the 49ers fans community. We're going to need him. And I hope that he gets back to what he was. I think he can. Right here. Niners should have drafted Zach Frazier. I was screaming it. Man, imagine where we'd be if we did. Oh, yeah, man, that's what it is. Oh, man. All right. The number 3, which this one's funny. I'm shocked. I'm not a curse guy. Wavy Wonder. He says, when Debo switched his number and CMC making the Madden cover, the CMC on Madden was the number 3 comment. Number 3. Curses. People believe in curses. That's crazy to me that exists in today's society. I've done my curses rant on you guys. But if you believe in curses, believe in curses. But for a lot of the community, CMC being on the cover, that's crazy to me. But yeah, it's what it was right here. Bobo kind of felt it when CMC got $40 million, then went to Germany. Dude, he was out there at training camp looking amazing. All training camp. And then he wasn't out there, and it's like, oh, they're rest days. And Kyle, again, his injury lies continue. That's one thing that never changes. Kyle Shanahan telling the truth about injury. Oh, it's just calf soreness. Oh, it's Achilles soreness. Oh, it's both Achilles. Oh, it's Achilles tendonitis. Oh, he's in Germany. No, there's a chance he can play week 1. Doesn't play till the bye week. Like, it just kept going and kept going and kept going. But yeah, the amount of stuff, and the fact that you extended him, knowing all of this, is just insane to me. It's insane. It's insane to me that you extended him knowing that this was the case. Maybe CMC didn't tell you, but you should have known. You should have known. Man, that one hurt. That one hurt. Let's look at this was not one of them. James, I knew when we drafted a 3rd round kicker. That was, the kicker has been terrible. Kyle Shanahan's still believing in him. It's what it is. Yeah, right here. David, knew when CMC was going on the Madden cover. You guys are the best. You guys are awesome, man. Right here, when CMC went down, says Ed, it was going to be tough then. Ayuk got hurt, done deal. Those 2 injuries. Those were the 3rd and 4th. And right here, Sean, first loss to the Rams. Should have fired Sorensen right then and there. I agree with you. You saw enough, and you want to give them a chance, but that was the biggest one. So the number 2 and I kind of combined these, so maybe this isn't fair. This isn't a scientific poll, so I apologize. It was the losses to the Rams. You lost to them twice. That's inexcusable. The Rams are a Mickey Mouse franchise with no fan base whatsoever. And right here, Slick, with the 49ers lost to the Rams the first time. You're up. How many points were we up in that game? Let me see here. I'm going to go back to it. This was week 3. It was early on, but we've dominated the entire, you were up 21-7. And then you were up 24-14 in the fourth. You're up 10 points in the fourth, but that ain't enough. Not for this defense, not for Nick Sorensen. And if he just did it against the Rams once, that'd be one thing. If he just did it against the Rams twice, that'd be one thing. If he just did it against the Cardinals the third time, that'd be one thing. If he just did it against Seattle the fourth time, that'd be another thing, right? And, I mean, that's the thing. I truly do think, and I'm going to do a whole bit on this in the second half of the show, injuries are not the reason. And yeah, we're talking about a lot of the injuries, and they do affect the team. I don't think the injuries are the reason why we are where we are, why the 49ers are where they are. It's you're a terrible team. Right here, Sean, Rams game that early. I still had hope, but I knew we weren't going to be the same. Yeah, you blow a 13-point lead. Golly, that's crazy, man. 14. I'm not smart. 14-point lead to the Rams. Oh, yeah. Right here, Vince. During the Rams game, that was it. We looked terrible. That was the crutch point, and our offense was non-existent. That's the second Rams game. So we lost the first one 24-7. And I mean, shoot, our offense was fine. We had 425 yards. We were great. But the second Rams game, 6 points. Under 200 yards. Kyle Shanahan's worst offensive output as, the coach for the 49ers, even calling plays. It was worse than 2017, 2018, 2020. That's how bad it was. Everything's on the line, and you put up 6 points offensively. You get away from the run game. And again, in that one, right earlier I said, what are the things that Shanahan won't change on? And that's running the ball in the fourth quarter when it's a close game. Doesn't matter if we're up in a close game. Doesn't matter if we're behind in a close game. Shanahan just refuses to run the ball. We were up 9-6. 9-6. Oh, sorry. No, we were up 6-3. There it is. We're up 6-3 to start the fourth quarter. We ran the ball 5 times. Rams ran the ball 10 times. And it was raining. And Brock Purdy can't throw in the rain. Yeah. That's where it is, man. Gosh, man, those Rams game really pissed me off. Really, really pissed me off. Right here, Rusty. Don't forget, we had concerns with the health coach left for the Atlanta basketball team. Yeah, and that changed. That changed. Dave, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Right here, Ed, when Brock lost his 2 go-to guys, it matters. Quarterbacks need their guys, period. It shows. It's not just Brock. Yeah, I think that's true. And then right here, Ed. Also, I believe Sorensen is a big part of the huge mess. There's no positive emotions to the guys. Yeah, what was somebody said earlier? Nick Wonderbread Sorensen. I call him Coach Pet Rock. That dude is a vanilla piece of paper, just emotionless. Nothing to do with his skin tone. It's just that dude is just boring. You watch his press conferences, you see his emotion on the sideline or lack thereof. That dude's got no emotions. And people hated Steve Wilkes for it. Nobody talks about it with Sorensen. It's weird. It's weird. Now, the number one most mentioned, which I thought was, right here. I'm with you, Darren. 808, my man. It was after the Seahawks lost. The moment Geno scored that rushing touchdown, that's when it was like, this season ain't it. Not it. When he scored that rushing touchdown, that's when it was just like, oh, this is it. This season's over. Right here, when we lost to the Seahawks game back in November, that was the number one mentioned. That was huge. Right here, ice cold Narcs. I still had hope things would turn around at the second Seahawks game, but not after. I put the after part. I think that's what you meant there. That was it. That was it right here. Faithful and grateful when the fourth quarter starts. I love that comment, man. I love that comment. Gosh. Yeah. Kyle lost his mojo in the running game with Mike McDaniel and Bobby Slowick. I disagree with that one. I feel like we've ran the ball very well all season. We're still top. We're 6th in yards per rush attempt. I think our run game is fine. We just don't run the ball. We're 15th in rush attempts this year. 15th. We're average on rush attempts. And we've had all these close games that we lose. But just Kyle won't run it whenever it's close, and he doesn't trust these backs. Tomorrow, whenever I talk about this preview of the Lions game, I don't expect us to run the ball anymore. Kyle won't do it. Rain game, quarterback can't throw close to the fourth quarter, still throw the ball 35 times. Are you kidding me? Quarterback can't hold on to the ball in the rain, and you just keep throwing it even though you're up by 3 in the fourth. That's insane. Insane. Oh, man. Yeah, right here, Ed. Yeah, Gino did the night, the Steph Curry move, Bobo calls it. Yeah, and I'm pulling for the Seahawks till the playoff starts. I really want them to win the division. I want them to keep Gino for a long time. Right here. We don't run the ball, but Kyle always says we need to run the ball more. Yep. Couldn't run the ball. Yeah, we could. Yes, we could. Yes, we could. I don't know what game you're talking about, but we ran the ball, and I think you're talking the Rams game. But you go look at what we were averaging. Is it on here? I don't know if it's going to be on here. Rush attempts. Boop, boop. Man, this ESPN has it. We still were averaging over 3.5 yards a carry. Not great. You're up 3. You're up 3. And all you do is turn the ball over in the rain. Yeah, you were running the ball just fine. We were running the ball not as effective as they were. But to give away the run game, no, I disagree with that. There's never been a game. If you're within one score, you run the ball. That's it. I believe in that. Not exclusively run the ball, but Shanahan goes to a 3-to-1 pass-to-run ratio in one-score games in the fourth quarter. Like, I've tracked this since Shanahan showed up. If it's within one possession in the fourth quarter, it's a 3-to-1 pass-to-run ratio, and that's one possession if we're up, tied, or down by one touchdown. Shanahan just completely boycotts it. Just crazy to me. That will never not be crazy. I just think it's nuts. All right, here we go. Hopefully you guys have taken part of this. We still got a couple more days in the 12 days of Christmas. I know there's another risk-free bet on the Dolphins game again this Sunday on first touchdown score, where if you bet it, you get paid. And if it doesn't hit, then guess what? You get your money back in your account. While other books make promises, MyBookie delivers. This holiday season, the deck is in your favor with MyBookie's 12 Days of Christmas. Festive lineup and can't miss opportunities for bettors to cash in. Risk-free Thursdays, NFL bets that you could bet, and if you don't hit, guess what? You don't lose any money. Super Boost and free bets are out there as well. Weekly casino giveaways. It only costs 50 cents to spend on bet soft slots to enter. I'm telling you, at MyBookie, it's not just about taking your bets. It's about giving you the tools to elevate your game with the road to New Orleans, bowl games, Christmas Day sports betting, NFL action, NBA doubleheaders. It's your season to win. And with the 12 Days of Christmas, which starts on December 19th, so don't wait, lock it in today. Use promo code 49ERS, 49ers, with your first deposit. MyBookie will give you a little extra to start your holiday hot. There's a reason MyBookie has been the go-to bettor and the betting sports book of the 49ers Rush podcast for 10 years. 10 years, guys, they have been doing this. Whether it's UFC, NFL, college ball, basketball, you name it. Now, rollovers do apply, and if you have questions, make sure to ask their customer service. They are A++. But whatever you bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. I see I'm getting some pushback on running the ball in the fourth quarter, and I love this conversation. Bobo, look at this. He says, when we have the lead late, it's better to go 3 and out running than passing. Is that correct? Well, I don't know if you're making fun of me here, but yes, it is. Because 1, it gives your defense a rest. 2, the clock keeps moving. And 3, less likely to have a turnover. And so you look at Brock Purdy in the fourth quarter in close games, negative 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Twice as many interceptions as touchdown passes for his career. He hasn't been in those situations a lot, but it's like 7 touchdown passes to 15 interceptions. That's off the top of my head. I could be wrong on that graphic, but whatever. Like, especially in the rain. And 2, this team is not built to be a passing-only offense. Our pass game is dependent upon the play action and teams respecting the run. When defenses going against us can key off against the pass, that's where we suck, especially without a true number 1 wide receiver. You got Juwan Jennings over there playing that. That's not really his role. That's where it gets worse. And also, probably the most important, our offensive line sucks. We draft guys. We don't draft guys. Never mind. We have guys on our offensive line that are run block guys who can do okay in the pass protection. But whenever you're moving the pocket, play action, fake jet sweeps, all this stuff, teams think you have to run. That helps your offensive line in pass protection. Whenever you just completely go empty set or motion out your running back to where defensive linemen and linebackers can just go straight to pass rush only, they don't have to play conservative against the run, you're making it even harder on your old linemen. But turnovers would be the number 1 reason with how we do it, especially in the rain. Anyway, that's where I feel. Now, let's talk 49ers versus Lions, because the injuries are huge, and we just listed all the injuries, and the CFC and the Ayuk and whatever, and Greenlaw. They're all huge, and they all matter. But here's the thing. The 49ers currently have 14 players on IR. 14. Salary cap space in those 14 players for this year is $36 million. The Lions have 19 players currently on IR, which accounts for $52 million in cap space. Yet they're playing for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Now, I understand context matters. How many players have been out? How many were all pros? Blah, 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 blah. Trent Williams is now on there. Trey Grit, like, I totally get that. But I'm saying to sit there and say the injuries are an issue, and they are, but they're the reason, I disagree with that. I don't even believe that way about 2020 either. I don't believe that way about 2024. I think that we have terrible coaching. Your defensive coordinator is a joke. Your special teams coordinator is an absolute joke. What you do in the fourth quarter, joke. Just criticize Kyle Shanahan on his play call in the fourth quarter. And here's the funny thing. I put that out there. Like, these are not John Chapman, whatever. These are factual data, like, you can measure how many players are on IR currently, what their salary cap is. Over the Cap has it all literally on a chart. I didn't make those up. I didn't crunch the numbers. These 14 players on IR for the 49ers, $36 million in cap space this year for the 49ers. That's factual. 19 players for the Lions, $52 million. So more cap space and more players. 5 more players, in fact. That is factual. I didn't make it up. Twitter's upset. And I think I'm doing well because I've got the fire Shanahan crowds mad at me because I don't want to fire Shanahan. And the 49ers, it's not the 49ers' fault. It's all injury crowd is also mad at me. So I feel like if I've got those angry DMs and comments coming my way, I feel like I'm towing the line pretty good. Because, yeah, injuries matter. They do. And coaching matters. It does. But I don't think that the reason why the 49ers are not in the playoffs this year has to do with injuries. I do not believe that. I still don't believe that. I think that it has to do with the fourth quarter. Shout out to my man Akash. He probably does the Twitter machine better than anybody. This is what he said. He said, quote, I know everybody points to the injuries this season, but until last month or so, the 49ers record wasn't defined by their injuries. It was defined by poor fourth quarter execution. Bad special teams play and blown leads. Even with the injuries, they probably would have been there. Sorry. Even with the injuries, they should be 6-9, end quote. That's what Akash said. I tend to agree. John Lynch, the 49ers general manager, on KNBR this morning. Quote, when you have division opponents down multiple scores in fourth quarters, you have to put people away. And that's what we didn't do this year. We have to own that. We have to get to the bottom of why it didn't happen, end quote. I think those things are true. I think we suck in the fourth quarter. And whenever you go from number one in fourth quarter scoring under Steve Wilks to dead last, we are giving up 10 points every fourth quarter. We have shut 0 teams out in the fourth quarter. And again, you just talked about the Rams, you talked about the Cardinals, you talked about the Rams again, and you talked about the Seahawks. The one thing and all those have in common, you're giving up multiple scores in the fourth quarter on defense to division opponents when you had the lead. Could the offense score more? Yes. Yes. But whenever you suck at the most important part of the game, what do you expect? We don't even get turnovers anymore defensively. When was the last time we got a turnover defensively? We've forced 2 turnovers since the bye week. 2, 4, 6, 7 games. We forced 2 turnovers. Offensively, we've turned the ball over every single game since the bye week. 3 turnovers twice. Golly, man. Getting destroyed in the turnover ratio. Why? You've given up on the run game. Back-to-back games against the Dolphins and the Rams, you've given up on the run game. You haven't even ran the ball 20 times in back-to-back weeks. How the hell is that possible? How is that possible behind one of the worst offensive lines? You're missing wide receivers, and we won't run the ball? Running the ball just fine, by the way. Even with Patrick Taylor in there, we still average close to 4 yards to carry. You can still run the ball. You can still run the ball. We do not do that. We do not do that. So injuries affect everything. I'm not saying that they don't, but I don't think injuries is the number 1 or even number 2 thing. The number 1 thing is the 49ers cannot properly evaluate the talent on their roster, right? Look at Jake Brendel starting no matter what. Aaron Banks starting over, you've had 2 players come in and spell him that are better. Now 3. Ben Barch was better. You went back to Banks. Spencer Burford was better. You went back to Banks twice. Now Nick Sakel's in there. He's played better than him already. Like, how did you not know this? 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 You knew Devondre Campbell sucked. Everybody knew D. Winters was better. Didn't matter. Kept Devondre Campbell out there till he took himself out. That's ridiculous. Defensive line, Javon Hargrave was awful. Got injured. We got better as soon as he got injured. Isn't that weird? That sucks. That was one of the worst contracts that will ever happen in modern free agency. But 49ers will move on next year. You're still playing Jordan Elliott nonstop out there. He is not good against the run. Kyle Shanahan called him our best run defender. He literally said that. Dude is not even a top 3 defensive end on the defensive tackle on this roster currently. He's not. Now, I will say this. Evan Anderson should be starting next to Malik Collins. Had his worst game last week. So maybe I'm wrong on that. But I'm just telling you, Jordan Elliott ain't it. And a dude should be a situational pass rusher and slasher only. Definitely should not have him out there on rundowns. He cannot play against duo. Never has. Not at Texas. Not after he got kicked out. Didn't get kicked out, but transferred to Missouri. Didn't do it there. Didn't do it whenever he got drafted for Cleveland, and hasn't done it for us. Never held up against duo ever. He's our best run defender. That's what Kyle Shanahan said. Not cool. Not cool. Not good. Not good. Now, what is good? Here we go. It's a birthday. We got a birthday today. Brock Purdy, the quarterback for the 49ers currently, and hopefully long term. I do hope that Brock gets signed. I do want him as our quarterback. Turns 25 today. And I think that you can do enough with Brock Purdy to continue to win. I do. Now, we're not winning this year. I understand. But making it to the NFC Championship in his first year, not even as a full-year starter. Second year goes to the Super Bowl this year. But I think Brock behind an offensive line, and this is why everybody talked last year about why we wanted to draft offensive linemen in the draft, because you wanted to see how good Purdy could be behind a good O-line. 49ers just said, nah, we're good. You got Pooney in the third. That was huge, but you brought in no centers to compete. You brought in no tackles. Now we're signing guys off of Rado practice squads to start for us the last 2 games because we got no tackles and we got no centers. You could have prepared for this, build in the trenches, but we never got to see what Brock looked like behind a quality offensive line. We haven't seen it. Now you have to go in and negotiate his contract without knowing. You had a chance. You had a year. You chose to skip it and get Ricky Pearsall and not throw it to him and get Jacob Cowie to not throw it to him at all. Jacob Cowie still has not had a target since the game he caught that 50-yard deep pass. Probably the best deep route runner we have. I don't even think probably 100% the best deep route runner we have. 0 targets. And Brock Purdy's throwing deep nonstop. 0 targets since that 50-yard catch. I think it was back in I don't want to misspeak here because then I'll get all the things. Let me look here. Yeah, he's only had catches in 1 game and there were 2 catches. It was all the way back in October. Oh, I was wrong. He registered 1 target in the Bears game. So I was wrong on that stat. There we go. Self-check Chapman. So October 20th, best deep. Burned the dude. Should have been a touchdown. It's a bad pass from Brock, but that's okay. He got 1 target in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games after that. 1 target. By far our fastest wide receiver and best deep threat. I don't think anybody's close to that. Yeah, I am with you there. Right here, Stroud has the 27th ranked O-line and still making the playoffs in the tough AFC. Yeah, Stroud's he was the number 1 player on my board that year. Stroud's different, and he's struggling this year too, but nah, that's a pretty damn good. I don't think people want to have the Stroud versus Purdy conversation because they play similar. And so to a lot of people, I think they look similar, but you look at the arm strength, the body, the size, all those things, it's different. They're different. He's got a much better, he's a top 5 pick, should have been number 1 overall. Yeah, a little bit different, but yeah, Stroud is, if you ask me, who do I want to have, Stroud or Brock Purdy? I would take it Stroud, but I want Purdy as our quarterback. I'm very happy with Brock Purdy as our quarterback, but if you asked all 32 teams, do you want Stroud or Brock Purdy? It's going to be like a 30-2. It might be 32-0. And that's not slander on Brock. It's just the tools and the body. And he does what Brock Purdy does, perhaps a little bit better. I hope that doesn't upset people. I don't try to upset people. I'm just trying to be honest. I love Brock Purdy. I hope he's the quarterback for as long as he plays in the NFL, and I hope that he gets back to what he was. Got to check down. Got to trust your running backs and tight ends, even if you don't like them. You got to throw to people even if you don't like them. I like that he threw it to Saubert for the touchdown because he's ignored Saubert. Saubert falls down on routes, drops passes. I get that. But like when Jordan Mason was in there, Brock Purdy refused to throw him the damn ball. Refused. Straight up. Would not throw it to him. That's issue. Now, if we look at the quarterbacks for the NFC West, I think this is important. The ages, right? So yeah, Brock 25, Kyler Murray's 27. Like this dude could play for a minute. Geno's 34, and I really hope the Seahawks win the division just so he stays. I really hope they pay him and he stays. I want him to be the quarterback of the Seahawks for a while. Stafford is 36, but his birthday's in like a month, so he's about to turn 37. So you got 12 years on Stafford. Like that's a long career. Can Purdy play that long? Not if you don't start checking it down and stop taking hits. But we'll see. We'll see. Monkey Boy, appreciate you. He says, Brock isn't a superstar quarterback, but he's efficient, can make great decisions when he has time. I agree. And he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid more than everybody wants. Don't flip out on the number of money per year. The 50, 55, 60, 65, whatever. That's not what's important. It's the total guaranteed and the availability to restructure the contract as you move forward. That's huge. Where are the outs? But that's too complex and too nuanced to tweet out and put on Instagram and go viral. So everybody just keeps posting the same images of quarterbacks making so much money a year whenever that is not, it's not important. It doesn't, I guess it plays a role in it, but it's the guarantees. Look at the Deshaun Watson versus, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones gets cut in the middle of the season and moved on. Why? Because the guarantees were never built in. Still a bad deal. And yeah, the Giants are pissed off they paid him so much. But then you go look at the Deshaun Watson deal, and it's like, man, they cannot cut. They cannot move on. They can't do it. It's just difficult. It's more nuanced than that. Now, to wrap this up, let's talk the Cardinals versus Rams game this week. I think this game's huge. Shout out to my man Nick Newman on Twitter. He put this together, and so I want to give him credit. I don't like stealing people's stuff. I don't like doing that, but I don't care if people steal my stuff too much. I prefer them not to, but whatever. He put this out there. We need the Cardinals to win to get the last place schedule in 2025. So if we finish 4th, which we currently are in division standings, which sucks, you play all the 4th place teams in the divisions that you play. Okay. So the 3 divisions we're playing, if we're 4th place, listen to the teams we would play next year. You'd play Chicago, New York Giants, Cleveland Browns. That's if the order stays the way it is. Those are the 3 games. Bears at home, Giants in New York, and then Cleveland on the road. That's if we stay where we are. Neither of those are good teams. Neither of those are trending in the right direction. They're both trending poorly. Chicago's got a bright future, and I actually think that's where Ben Johnson's going to coach next year, but I digress. If let's say the Cardinals lose to the Rams, and then we beat the Cardinals, very real possibility, but probably not if Nick Sorensen's coaching the 4th. I digress. If we finish 3rd, those 3 games are versus the Packers, at Dallas Cowboys, at Cincinnati Bengals. You see the difference? Now, Dallas Cowboys are terrible. Packers are pretty badass. They just destroyed us. In Cincinnati, I don't want to play Cincinnati. Would you rather play Cincinnati or Cleveland? Okay. Yeah, I'd rather play Cleveland. Would you rather play the Giants or the Cowboys? I'd probably rather play the Cowboys. My commitment is to never miss a 49ers Cowboys game ever again. I will be in person at that's my lifelong goal. Anytime the 49ers Cowboys play, I'll be there. So for the 49ers Rush road trip, if we're in Dallas, I'll be there. I'll be there. That's what it's going to be. But would you rather play the Bears, who we just walloped by the most one-sided victory in 49ers history almost, or would you rather play the Packers that kind of did the same damn thing to us? Yeah, it's there. And right here, Ed, Kyler plays good against the Rams. Let's hope they win. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. New York could be a great trip, man. I hate MetLife. It's in the swamps. But yeah, and we'll see. Next year, we got some good trips for the 49ers Rush road trip. Like guaranteed, Houston, I'm going to no matter what. That chapter there is incredible. Shout out to Ruben if he's listening. I'm going to New Orleans. That's happening. I'm going to Seattle. I'm going to Arizona. I'm never going to miss those. Indianapolis, I've never been to that stadium. I've been to 26 NFL current stadiums. And they're making it hard because they keep building new ones. But I'm trying to get to all 32. Never been to Indianapolis. I'm going to that game if I can. RCA Dome. That just sounds cool. But every time they make holiday games and whatever, that makes it difficult. But I've never been to MetLife. I've been to MetLife and I've been to New York. I've never gone to a game at MetLife. So that one's on the list, but I don't really want to go up there. Not that I'm anti-New York, but it's just where the stadium is there's not really much. Anyway, it's what it is. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this show. I have fun. I think we covered some ground. I'm excited about that. Now, if you want to go get excited about the draft, head over to the 49ersrush.com. Check out some of the draft breakdown videos, all 22, on some of the tackle prospects. Man, Kelvin Bates Jr., Will Campbell, studs. Well, the 49ers have a chance to get them. We'll see. Look at NY Niners, my man. Says you're not missing anything not going to MetLife. I got to cross it off the list, so we'll see. The wife always gets the vetoes, but I got to get to the 32. I'm trying. I'm working hard, guys. I'm working hard. Thank you. You guys are incredible. Hopefully you enjoyed this show, and until next time, stay strong, faithful.